Existing strata to impose socialism. For example, voting it in, letting the people have a choice. That's a democratic socialist. Okay? So you will find some people who will see us having a discussion like this and tell us we're nothing but a bunch of red communists. And I've told communists themselves, how can I possibly be that? And he said, what do you mean? I said, I'm an African. And he says, and what does that mean? We believe in God. Communists don't believe in God. They believe that religion is the what of the masses? You understand what I'm saying? So, no, we believe in the other side. Okay, so you can't say that.
Actually, true communism is out of the scriptures.
True. When you really think about it, and I have read Marx and Engels and so forth. Isn't it something they had to go to the first world, commonly called the third world? These people have always sought to find the answer. They've always sought to find the creator, the supreme being, somewhere. Because you can't be humane and do the things that they do. and say that you're whatever, Christian or Buddhist or what. You can't say that. Not and do the things that they've done. You can and continue to do. And will want to destroy you if you don't want to join in with them. Isn't that something? Think about it. And like, who gave them the right? They don't make up but 8% of the world. And then they're going to tell you they're communists and we need to destroy them, dismantle them. Well, what the hell are you? Seriously. I mean, and why would I want to weaken my melanin by joining you or being with you? You're anti-God. You're anti all the things that you've been seeking. I can't help you. And you can't blame me for not wanting to join you and be with you. So I hope I've answered your question in a long way. So that I left no stone unturned.
As an African in America, as African people, we have to look at this as how does it involve us, how does it influence us, what impact is it going to have on us worldwide, right? That's the thing we need to think about. This is a significant counter-project to what the Western countries are doing, the United States and the European countries, the things they're doing in common. They've decided, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, to do some things on their own. They've discussed a common current. They're not blindly following the dictates of Western civilization. They are discussing having a currency that they will trade amongst themselves, just like the Europeans talking about the European Union and the European currency, obviously NATO and those types of the things that align them. Like Heavy D said, we got our own thing. And so that's what B.R.I.C.S is kind of getting into. And a significant battleground, literally and figuratively, has been the conflict in Ukraine. The leadership in Ukraine, Zelensky is a gentleman who is a politician in the pure sense in that politicians are actors. This man is literally acting on a reality show. And the United States did a regime change of the administration that was there because all this relates to finances. If you follow the money, that will tell you everything you need to know. The previous leadership in Ukraine before Zelensky, they didn't want to take IMF loans. The United States of America and these Western European countries want countries in Africa and everywhere else to take those loans because they're going to be indebted to them and allow them to come through there and do whatever they want. Privatize everything, own everything, run everything, control everything. The previous administration refused to take the International Monetary Fund loan, and so the United States decided to do a regime change, and Zelensky is a product of that. So he is a Western-backed leader who has decided with the United States to wreak havoc on parts of the Ukraine that's not down with the Western leadership of that country, because that country is kind of split, not just ethnically, but it's also split in terms of alignment. One of the reasons why, and this war in Ukraine is a proxy war. It's not people in Ukraine like, we want to. That's not a decision they made. The United States made this decision because Ukraine borders Russia. And Donbass and Donetsk, the northern regions of Ukraine, those people want to be separate from the fascist, Naziistic government that the United States has backed and put in place there. Why do I say that? The Azov military battalion in Ukraine, this almost all Nazis. A lot of the business that the United States does in terms of war there, a significant amount of the Ukrainian soldiers are verified Nazis. They're westernized soldiers fighting for Western economic interests. Also trying to turn that country and make sure that country is sitting right there on the border, always as a threat to Russia. And so what Russia had to do, they had to protect the people in Donbass and Donetsk that did not want to be part of the Western European influenced Ukrainian government. They did not want to be part of the New World Order and the Europeanized form of debauchery and dependency that the United States was trying to create. And the Ukrainian government had bombed those regions of Ukraine so heavily, Russia was forced to come in and protect itself because that was right on their border. It's almost like the United States and its allies were jerking Russia's chain. Russia didn't want to get involved with that. And despite Condoleezza Rice's recent comments about how crazed and what a maniac Vladimir Putin is, Vladimir Putin has been very, in terms of his tone, he's been very moderate. In terms of his decisions, he's been very empowered. And he's created this alliance because this is a significant, like I say, counter project to what the West and the United States are doing. They are not in agreement with the program of digital currency, especially the Europeanized version of it. They're not in agreement with one world government. Why would they agree with one world government? When the United States talks about one world government, they're talking about Western powers dictating and controlling the affairs and things. There are several things that the United States wanted to make sure that they were in control of in Ukraine, and they were fighting to protect. And some of them were some of the labs. They have labs in Ukraine where some of the coronavirus research was the coronavirus, and some of these shots and some of the things related to that were created. And they didn't want Russia getting their hands on those things. It's a lot of different items and moving pieces going on in Ukraine. Hunter Biden was using Ukraine to line his pockets. And that's one of the things people were talking about maybe prosecuting him on. He made a lot of money over there doing business deals. And that's what government is anyway. It's a way to enhance your life and the life of your family. Never are they serving like the people. So it's a certain amount of ridiculous. For us, it's something we have to watch because South Africa is part of this alliance. So it does involve us, and it is a significant counter project. Because like I say, they're not in line with digital identification, digital currency, and all those things. And that's why I was saying that we got to be careful with terms like COVID, because COVID is certificate of vaccination identification, and that goes all the way down to having people chipped. Because they're saying, why would you want to carry your card when you can have a chip? The chip will have all your medical information, all your financial information, and with that chip, people think, there are people who already been chipped now. Don't get me wrong. So they've signed off. Well, yeah, it'll make it, because everything is promoted as convenience. But with that chip, just like they can put money in your account, they can take it out. And digital currency is one way to make it more difficult for you to keep people from stealing from you, or they have what they call social credit scores. I think they started that in China, where if you are dissonant, or the social credit score can be based upon your behaviors. That is a form of severe fascism. I'm saying that to say that your social credit score, you'll be given grade for the people you associate with. They got, of course, through technology, the people you talk to on the phone. the searches you do on the internet, the places you go. You're being tracked. The phone tells all this information. If you go to places that the government does not want you to go, if you associate with people the government does not want you to associate with, if you listen to podcasts or shows on the internet they don't want you to listen to, your score can be lowered and your ability to make transactions and purchase items will be compromised because money can be taken out of your account. You will be punished as a result of that. Or you may not have access to your account until you behave better. That's part of the New World Order. And people think this stuff is fictional. This is technology that's been created. And these are things that the Western powers want to do. The BRICS have not signed off on a lot of these things. That's what I'm saying. They're not in line with that. And that's why this government has to constantly demonize everything Russia does, everything China does. And it's to the point where it's ridiculous. A lot of times if you look at it, if you look at when this government is claiming China is doing something, it's really them. Or it's a combination. It can be like both, boss. Deion Sanders did a commercial with Domino, one of these pizza companies a long time. It was his owner, Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys owner. We played for Cowboys. He said both, boss. Sometimes things are not one or the other. They're both. And in terms of a lot of these issues, we can see that. There was a gentleman, a Chinese spy, that was arrested in Lansing. He had some software. He was kind of what I was talking about before. He had a disc, and he was altering some elections in Ingham County, I believe, something along those lines. He was caught with this disc. When they vetted this gentleman, he appeared in court and he was charged with spying and that type of thing. He's a Chinese guy. When they identified who this guy was, guess who his employers were? The Chinese Communist Party, Michigan State University, Governor Whitmer, the Department of Homeland Security. He was working for all of them. And at the end of the trial, he was released and given his disc back. What is that telling you? It's telling you, in some respects, all these companies are on the same page. How could you be, and then they claim China this, China that, and this gentleman's working for China and the Chinese Communist Party and the Department of Homeland Security and the state of, so some things are happening on a world level to where they make it seem like they're the enemy, but they're working together, they're frenemies. Wake up, people, some of this stuff they have in common. Just like like I mentioned, the coronavirus. Yeah, the lab's in China, but it's a United States lab. Good cop, bad cop. When I see that, they're both bad cops. But on the BRICS, yeah, there's some significant things where China and Russia definitely disagree with the United States and the Western powers. And that's why they're doing that to protect their own interests and to stop some respects of Novo Order Seclorum, the New World Order, which they're not, the one world government, all those things. They're not in agreement with that. And on that level, I think they have a point, sir.